Hi, beautiful people. Let's talk about the importance of spiritual growth, okay? I feel like we always talk about leveling up physically, leveling up financially, mentally, but let's talk about leveling up spiritually, okay? Because that is the base of everything. We are here as spiritual beings having a human experience. And a lot of times when we experience blockages in our life, they come from our spirit. There is an underlying spiritual blockage. And so I have found that the success I'm having in my life has been from working on the spiritual. And as you work on the spiritual, you start to release those blockages that are stopping you from leveling up physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and creating the life that you actually want. So sometimes I know we think I just can't do it. I'm just lazy. I just don't know why it's so hard for me. I've tried and I've tried and I can't do it. That's because there's something going on underneath, and that's spiritually. So let's talk about it. How can you start leveling up spiritually? Um I would say if you come across this video, first of all, that tells me that there's a certain level of awareness that you have, and that to me is where it starts. It starts with just having that awareness that we are spiritual beings. If you don't believe that, then anything else you try is not going to work as far as like spiritual changes. You have to understand, and you probably do, that we are spiritual beings, and that there are things that we hold on to without realizing. There are things that we don't heal from, and we just, this world conditions us to be like on autopilot. And so we're just going through life. Like if you think about, if you're, when you're a baby and your parents raise you how they can, you don't have memory recollection of what happened before you were 4 or 5 6 for some people, or some people don't have memory of before they're like 10 or a teenager. So if you think about that, all the things that your body experienced, that you didn't understand what was going on, but your body and your spirit held on to that. And so you're growing into an adolescent, young adult, an adult, and you're going through all these life experiences without ever really understanding or learning from them. Like, why did I go through that? I know I went through like a period of my life where I just did and did and did and did. And then, like, it's like you're running, right? You're just running and running and getting through life and working and paying bills and having relationships and, or having children, having issues with people, with your parents, and you're just going and running. And then you hit this wall and you're like, I'm tired. What did I go through? What have I gone through? What is my life? What's the purpose of this? And you kind of start having this existential crisis, right? And then you have to like take a seat and really just unpack everything that you have gone through that has made you who you are today. Because through those things that you're unpacking, you're learning, well, after this happened, I started these habits and I started to think like this or feel like this. Or some people experience like, I don't even know what I'm feeling. Like, I've never felt my emotions. I don't even know what this feels like. This feels weird. I don't know what this is. Like, you start to unpack all these things. And that's like your spirit wanting to unpack and heal and learn and uncover. And that's when you can start kind of opening your eyes up to a spiritual awareness and spiritual growth, right? So I feel like if you're lucky enough to get to that point, because a lot of people never get to that point. A lot of people just go through life, and I've seen people reach it at 40, 50, 60. Some people never reach that point. So if you've reached that point, like, be proud of yourself and know that there's so much work ahead, but it's so fulfilling and it's like never ending. So as you like unpack something and you relearn and you start to like relearn yourself and you start to like grow in your spirit, there's like new challenges, right? And there's always ways to grow and level up. So after awareness, once you've hit awareness, the next step is just Taking time for yourself. I think this is so important. Having alone time. This world is meant to distract you from your goals, from your mental goals, financial goals, like body goals, from your spiritual goals. This world is meant to distract you, and it's gonna distract you at every single step. It distracts you with your phone, with problems at work, with paying bills, with family, with friends. It distracts you in all kinds of ways. So you have to take time to be alone. And that can just be even like on your way to work, right? In the bathroom, while you're showering, while you're eating, right before bed, when you wake up in the morning. Like spend even just 10 minutes alone and pay attention to what your body and your mind is telling you. Start paying attention. Pay attention to the thoughts. Pay attention to the way your body feels. Pay attention, even as simple as like describing what you're feeling. So that was like a big first step for me, was understanding what I was feeling, period. Because for a while my body was numb and I didn't understand what I was feeling. But so I started to like understand, like, what am I feeling? I feel like I'm driving and all this traffic is just so freaking annoying. I'm so annoyed. And then I sit back. What am I feeling? Am I feeling annoyed at the people? Am I feeling frustrated that I'm not home yet? Am I feeling tired because I've been on the road all day? Am I feeling nauseous because I'm hungry, I haven't eaten? Like, then you start to kind of unpack. You see, you're not just like, oh, all these stupid people driving on the road. No, you start to unpack, like, what is really going on? Why am I upset? Why am I wanting to yell at people? Why am I honking my horn at people? What is going on? And you stop pointing the finger at other people like, oh, this person can't drive. Why is this person on the road? Why are all these cars on the road? And you kind of turn it back to yourself like, what am I feeling? Why do I feel this way? And that's where spiritual growth begins. It begins when we take a look at ourselves in our inner being and we use our outside circumstances and what's going on around us to reflect and uncover what's going on inside of us. Because everything on the outside is a reflection of us inside. So we're able to use our outside scenarios or situations and start doing the inner work. And once we begin to uncover those feelings, next time I want to yell at people on the road, I can acknowledge and say, maybe I'm yelling because I'm hungry. When's the last time I ate? Or maybe I need to go home and take a nap. Maybe my sleeping hasn't been good. Or maybe I'm upset at a situation that happened between a friend or between my partner or between a family member. Like maybe there's an issue I haven't resolved that is making me like upset and irritable. We're then able to start uncovering our feelings, and then that helps us move forward. So now I'm not lashing out on the road. Now I'm actually driving peacefully on the road because I know if I get upset, I can uncover those feelings and let it go. And we're not holding on to things. Okay? So taking time to yourself so that you can understand and understand and acknowledge what you're feeling and what you're thinking, because that's also just as important. What am I thinking? Why am I having these irrational thoughts? Do they matter to me? No. Okay, so then I should let them go. Or am I having these thoughts because this is something that's actually really bothering me? So when we spend time alone, we're actually able to uncover our deeper self. And then sometimes those feelings and thoughts are tied into other experiences that we've had, because our life is actually a cycle. Just like, we say history repeats itself, and the world is like a cycle. Fashion's a cycle, right? We're seeing things come back from like the 90s and everything. Our life, our habits are a cycle. Our patterns, our thought patterns, our behaviors are all a cycle. If you've had like bad relationship after bad relationship, or you're like, oh, I have my friends always end up doing this to me, or or like this always happens, people always disappoint me. If you say those phrases and catch yourself, if you're like, oh, this always happens, I always go through this, your life is a cycle and it's on repeat. And the best way to break those cycles and create a new life for yourself is by paying attention, bringing awareness, and even just bringing awareness, you're able to start breaking those cycles so that every day is not just it's not just a repetition of yesterday. You're actually able to create a brand new day that doesn't look like yesterday. Okay? So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I would love to make more videos getting into the depth of this, but there's so much to uncover. So I hope to see you guys for the next video. Okay?